Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. You can't go through life thinking you're going to figure women out just by asking them straight up what they want. It don't work like that. Women are complex, they layered, and the truth is they speak a whole language that ain't got nothing to do with words. It's in the eyes, it's in the smile, it's in the way she leaned closer. And if you ain't paying attention, brother, you're going to miss it every single time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. Understanding women ain't about guessing. You can't just sit there, scratch your head, and try to piece together what she's thinking like you solving some crossword puzzle. It don't work that way. Understanding women is about paying attention. It's about observing. It's about noticing the details that she's dropping all day long, because trust me, she's always giving you signs. The problem is most men, they too distracted, too wrapped up in their own world, or too slow to recognize it. And then they turn around and say, man, I don't know what she wants. Brother, she told you. She told you without saying it, but you wasn't tuned in. See, here's the deal. Women got a language that don't always come out in words. They got a rhythm, a body language, a way they use their eyes, their tone, their touch. And when you really understand a woman, you start to realize she don't have to spell everything out for you. She don't have to announce, I want attention now, or I need affection right here. She might just lean into you a little closer. She might brush her hand across your arm. She might play with her hair while she's looking at you a certain way. Now, you could call it subtle, but I call it obvious if you're paying attention. The mistake most men make is they think understanding a woman is about logic. No, it ain't logic, it's awareness. A woman ain't a math problem you can solve with formulas. She's a melody you gotta listen to. She's a book you don't skim through, you read every page slowly, because that's where the story is. And if you just guessing, thinking you know her based on what you saw one time on TV or what your buddy told you, you're going to fail every single time. I can't tell you how many times I've seen brothers mess up because they thought they knew, but they never noticed the details. A woman sitting at dinner quiet, not laughing like she usually does, not engaging like normal, and the man's just eating his food, talking about his day, thinking everything's cool. Meanwhile, she's sitting there saying everything with her silence. That silence is a signal. That silence is a whole message that says, I needed you today. I needed comfort. I needed presence. I needed you to notice I wasn't myself. But because he wasn't paying attention, he missed it. Then later, when she finally blows up, he's confused. Talking about, where did this come from? Brother, it came from all them missed signals you ignored. Now, here's the beauty of it. When you finally start paying attention, when you slow down enough to study the woman in your life, you're going to see how much easier love becomes. It ain't complicated when you observe it. When you can walk in the room and feel her mood, when you can tell by the way she puts her bag down if she had a good day or a rough one. When you can notice that she dressed up a little extra today just for you, that's when she feels understood. That's when she says, this man gets me. And when a woman feels like you get her, brother, you got gold in your hands. That's when she opens up her whole heart to you. And let me tell you this. Understanding a woman through her signals is not about being psychic, it's about being present. It's about putting down the phone, turning off the distractions, and saying with your attention, you matter right now. That's what they really want. They want to know you notice them, that you see them, that you value the little things they do. You'd be surprised how far you can go by just saying, I saw the way you fixed your hair today. You look beautiful. or I notice you've been quiet tonight. You okay? Those little acknowledgments are powerful, and they come from paying attention to signals. Because here's the truth. Women ain't really that hard to understand if you just stop trying to guess and start trying to listen with more than your ears. Listen with your eyes. Listen with your heart. Listen with your patience. A woman's world is full of signals, and the man who learns to read them is the man who never has to guess if she's happy, if she's in love, if she's satisfied. He already knows because he's tuned in. Sometimes it's not about the words she says, but the moves she makes. A lot of men are waiting on a woman to give them a speech, to put everything in plain English, but that's not how it works. Women ain't walking around with a megaphone telling you every single thought that's crossing their mind. They communicate in ways that don't always use words. They'll shift their body a certain way. They'll glance at you a certain way. They'll lean in closer. They'll laugh at something you said just a little louder than the joke deserved. And all of that is her telling you something. The problem is most men don't even recognize it. They're so caught up in their own head, so busy waiting for some obvious statement that they miss the whole message. See, a woman will make a move that speaks louder than anything she could have said. You think she's just brushing your arm when she walks by, but what she's really doing is letting you know, I'm open to your touch. You think she's just sitting closer on the couch because the seat was available, but what she's really doing is saying, I want to feel you near me. You think she's just adjusting her hair or biting her lip without reason, but that's a whole invitation right there. Those are not random little gestures. Those are signals. And when you start to understand them, your whole relationship changes. Most men miss these moves because they keep waiting for something direct. They want her to spell it out. I want you to kiss me right now. But that ain't how most women roll. They want you to read it, to sense it, to respond like a man who's confident enough to know what's going on without her having to announce it. That's the real test. Women want to see if you're tuned in, if you're paying attention enough to act without being told, because when you catch it, when you respond to that move, that's when she feels connected. That's when she says, yes, he gets me. I've seen men ruin moments because they hesitated too long. They second guessed themselves. She makes a move. She gives the look. She drops the hint. And he sits there asking himself, wait, is she really saying what I think she's saying? By the time he figures it out, the moment is gone. And let me tell you, nothing kills the energy faster than hesitation. When she makes that move, that's the moment. That's the green light. If you don't take it, the light turns red and you sitting there wondering why she pulled away. Women are emotional creatures, but they're also playful, subtle, and sometimes mysterious on purpose. They like to dance. They like the moment where you show you paying attention. And it doesn't always have to be physical. Sometimes the move is just her asking you a question she already knows the answer to, just to see if you will engage. Sometimes it's her laughing at your joke a little too long. Sometimes it's her sending a picture of her outfit before she goes out just to see your reaction. Those are all moves. And when you respond right, when you step up with confidence, she feels desired, she feels seen, and she feels understood. The real key is to stop living only in words and start living in awareness. If you only listen to what she says, you're only getting half the story. If you watch what she does, how she moves, how she positions herself around you, how she lingers in your space, that's what the truth is. And it's not about being smooth. It's about being present enough to see it and bold enough to act on it. What separates men who struggle from men who succeed with women is not looks, not money, not status. It's awareness of those little moves, because if you can recognize them, you never miss a chance to connect. And when you act in that moment, when you move with confidence right after she makes her move, that's when the sparks fly. That's when the energy builds. That's when the chemistry is undeniable. Women don't always need you to talk. They need you to respond. And the move she makes is the invitation you've been waiting on. Men often miss those subtle invitations because they're too distracted or too slow. And that's one of the biggest problems in relationships today. A woman will be sending signals all day long, but the man is either buried in his phone, stuck in his work, glued to the game, or just plain out of tune with what's happening right in front of him. She'll drop a hint, she'll make a move, she'll give him the look, and he doesn't even notice because his attention is somewhere else. Then later, he wonders why she's frustrated, why she's pulling away, why she seems cold. Brother, it's because you missed the invitation. The truth is, women don't always come out and say exactly what they want. And that's not because they're trying to be difficult. It's because they expect you to be connected enough to pick it up. When she fixes her hair while looking at you, when she slides just a little closer on the couch, when she takes the long way across the room just to pass by you, those are invitations. That's her saying, I want your attention. I want your presence. I want you right here. But when you're too slow to notice or too distracted to care, she feels ignored. And nothing will shut a woman down faster than feeling invisible to the man she cares about. I've seen it play out so many times. A woman is sitting there trying to get her man's attention with her body language, with her eyes, with that little smile she does, and he's scrolling through his notifications like his phone is the most important thing in the world. She leans in, he doesn't move. She laughs, he doesn't respond. She touches his hand, he pulls away to grab the remote. That right there is how opportunities die. That's how you lose intimacy without even realizing it. By being so distracted, you miss the very moment she was opening herself up to you. And the thing is, once you miss it enough times, she stops making the effort. At first, she'll try again, she'll drop more hints, she'll keep making the moves. But after a while, if you keep being too slow to react or too caught up in your own world, she'll pull back. She'll say to herself, why bother? He doesn't see me anyway. And when a woman starts feeling unseen, that's when the distance grows. That's when she becomes colder, not because she stopped loving you, but because you stopped noticing her. A woman wants to feel pursued, not just once when you first met her, but over and over again throughout the relationship. Those subtle invitations she makes, they're her way of keeping the fire alive, of telling you, come close, give me that attention, show me I still excite you. And when you miss it, she starts doubting. She starts asking herself, does he even want me? Does he even find me attractive? And that doubt can be more damaging than any argument you'll ever have. Now, here's the good news. Being tuned in doesn't require you to be perfect. It just requires you to be present. Put down the distractions, lift your head and watch her. Notice how she acts when she wants you close. Notice the difference between her normal smile and that playful little grin she gives when she's inviting you in. Pay attention to how she lingers near you instead of walking away. These are the subtle moves that mean everything to her. And if you can catch them, if you can respond quickly instead of hesitating, You'll build a bond that feels alive every single day. The mistake men make is thinking that a woman will always wait for them to figure it out. She won't. Time matters. Timing is everything. If she makes the move and you don't respond, the energy dies. If she drops the invitation and you're too slow, the door closes. But when you're alert, when you're responsive, when you catch it right there in that moment, that's when she feels desire. That's when she knows, my man gets me. And once she knows that, you don't have to worry about her love being distant, because she'll feel secure, she'll feel wanted, and she'll give you even more of herself. Confidence and timing matter more than flashy gestures. And that's the truth most men don't understand. Too many brothers think they got to come in with the biggest flowers, the fanciest dinner, the most expensive gift, like women are keeping scorecards of how much money you spend. But what really moves a woman's heart is not the size of the gesture, it's the way you deliver yourself in the moment. A confident man who knows how to step up at the right time will always outshine a man with deep pockets but no awareness. A woman doesn't just remember what you bought her, she remembers how you made her feel in that exact moment. When you look her in the eyes with certainty, when you lean in at the perfect time, when you kiss her without hesitation because you knew the moment called for it. That's what she holds on to. Timing is everything. You can plan the biggest surprise in the world, but if the timing is wrong, if the energy ain't there, it falls flat. On the other hand, you can do something as simple as reaching over to hold her hand when she needed reassurance, and that little move will feel bigger than any diamond ring. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. Confidence is quiet, it's steady. It's about being sure of yourself without having to brag about it. A woman can tell instantly if you're second guessing yourself. She can feel it in your hesitation, in your nervous energy, in the way you keep asking, is this okay? Instead of making her feel secure, that kind of energy makes her feel like she's carrying the whole weight of the relationship. But when you walk in with confidence, when you trust yourself enough to move with purpose, that's when she relaxes. That's when she feels safe, desired, and wanted. I've seen men mess up not because they didn't care, but because they didn't act in the moment. They thought too long. They hesitated until the spark was gone. She was waiting for him to close the distance, to step into that energy, and he froze. Let me tell you something. Hesitation kills more opportunities than rejection ever will. Women are not sitting there timing you with a stopwatch, but they can feel when the moment passes. They can feel when you should have acted and you didn't. And once that window closes, it's hard to get it back. That's why timing matters. It's not about rushing. It's about being present enough to know when the moment is right. You don't need fireworks in the background. You just need to respond when the signal is there. If she leans in, meet her halfway. If she lingers in your space, don't just sit there frozen, make the move. If she's looking at you with that certain softness in her eyes, don't keep talking about sports or work. Kiss her. That's timing. And when you combine timing with confidence, that's when chemistry feels electric. Flashy gestures are temporary, but confidence and timing create memories. She'll forget about the expensive dinner if you spent the whole night distracted or insecure. But she'll never forget the time you pulled her close when she needed it, or the way you said something simple but powerful in the exact moment she was doubting herself. That sticks. That's what makes her heart race years down the road. The truth is, women want to feel secure. And security doesn't come from gifts. It comes from your energy. It comes from knowing that when she makes her move, you'll recognize it and respond without hesitation. It comes from her feeling like she can trust you to lead in those small, everyday moments. If you don't have timing, you can buy her the whole world and still lose her. But if you have timing and confidence, you can whisper one sentence, make one small gesture, and she'll feel like she's the only woman alive. That's why you can't be distracted and you can't be timid. You got to trust yourself enough to step into the moment. Women don't need you to put on a show. They need you to show up with confidence and act when the moment is calling. Do that, and you'll never need the flashy stuff to keep her love, because you'll already be giving her what she really wants: your presence, your certainty, and your perfect timing. A woman's interest often shows in playful, body language-driven ways. And the sad part is most men don't even realize it. They walk right past it like nothing happened, not knowing she just gave them an open door. Women are masters at communicating without words. They got a whole dictionary of moves, smiles, glances, touches, little shifts in how they sit or stand that say way more than a sentence ever could. But if you're not paying attention, if you're not tuned in, you'll miss every single one of them and wonder why you can't connect. See, when a woman is interested in you, she don't always come out and say it. She'll let her body do the talking. She might tilt her head a little while she's listening to you, letting you know you've got her full attention. She might laugh at a joke that wasn't even that funny just to let you know she likes being in your presence. She might play with her hair, brush it back behind her ear, or lean just a little bit closer when she talks. Those are not accidents. Those are playful ways of showing you she's interested, that she wants you to notice her. Some of the biggest signs are in the smallest moves. A woman might touch your arm while she's making a point, not because she needed to, but because she wanted to bridge that gap. She might stand close enough that you can feel her energy, waiting to see if you'll pick up on it. She might mirror your movements without even realizing it. When you lean back, she leans back. When you take a sip of your drink, she does the same. All of that is body language telling you, I like you, I'm into this, keep going. The mistake a lot of men make is overthinking. They'll see these signals, and instead of responding, they question it. Was that really a sign? Am I imagining this? By the time they get done debating with themselves, the moment is gone. A woman's playful body language is like a dance. You got to catch the rhythm when it happens. If she leans in, you lean in. If she touches your hand, don't pull away, return that energy. If she's smiling and giving you those eyes, don't just sit there. Say something, do something. That's how you keep the momentum alive. Women love to play, and I don't mean games in a negative way. I mean they enjoy the playful back and forth, the little sparks that come from teasing, laughing, touching, and letting the chemistry build naturally. If you only look for direct words, you'll miss the fun part, because the truth is when she's giving you those signals, that's her way of saying, I want to see if you're paying attention. I want to see if you're confident enough to step into this moment without me spelling it out. That's where the attraction grows, inside that silent language. And let's be real, women don't waste that energy on just anybody. If she's playful with you, if her body language is warm and inviting, she's interested. She's opening a door that she doesn't open for everyone. That's why it's so important not to miss it. When she makes that move, she's trusting you to recognize it, to respect it, and to respond in a way that makes her feel safe and desired at the same time. The men who get it, who know how to pick up on these playful signals, never have to force anything. They don't chase, they don't beg, they don't push too hard, because the woman is already meeting them halfway. They see her signals, they mirror her energy, and they keep the interaction light, fun, and confident. That's what creates that magnetic pull that makes her want more of you. So when a woman shows her interest in playful body language and dressing ways, don't overlook it. That's her way of inviting you closer without saying a word. And if you can recognize those moves, if you can step into that moment with confidence and presence, you'll never have to wonder where you stand with her, because she already told you, not with her mouth, but with every move she made. Missing the moment can turn excitement into disappointment. And that's something a lot of men don't realize until it's too late. A woman can build up all this energy. She can send the signals. She can give you the look. She can set the whole scene without saying a word. In her mind, she's already excited. She's already thinking about what's about to happen. But when you hesitate, when you act like you didn't notice, when you move too slow, all that energy she built up just crash. What could be in a fire turns into smoke. And once that excitement dies, it's hard to get it back. A woman doesn't always need grand gestures. Most of the time, she just needs you to recognize the moment when it's right in front of you, when she leans in a little closer, when she puts her phone down and looks at you with that spark in her eye. That's her way of saying, now, this is it. But if you miss it, if you start talking about something random, if you get up and walk out of the room, or if you just sit there confused, that excitement flips into disappointment instantly. She starts thinking, he doesn't get me, he doesn't see me, why do I even bother? And the next time, she won't be as quick to send those signals because she doesn't want to feel let down again. Timing matters because energy is fragile. Attraction is a wave. It builds up, it gets stronger, and then it wants to break at the right moment. If you ride that wave, you get passion, you get intimacy, you get connection. But if you let the wave crash without catching it, all you left with is silence. And silence in those moments feels heavy. It feels like rejection, even if you didn't mean it that way. That's how missing the moment hurts her. It makes her feel unwanted. And no woman wants to feel like she has to beg for attention from the man she cares about. I've seen men miss these moments, not because they didn't care, but because they weren't paying attention. They thought they had time. They thought they could wait until later. But later doesn't feel the same. Later is too late. When she's ready, when she's open, when she's giving you that energy, that's when you have to step into it. Because if you don't, she feels the rejection. She feels the letdown, and that disappointment sticks with her longer than you think. The real tragedy is that men often underestimate how much it means to a woman when he catches the moment. When you recognize it and move with confidence, it makes her feel seen. It makes her feel desired. It makes her feel like you're on the same wavelength. That builds trust. But when you miss it, it does the opposite. It builds doubt. It makes her wonder if you're even attracted to her, if you're even paying attention. And once doubt enters a woman's mind, it can spread fast. That's why you can't afford to miss those subtle invitations. You've got to be present, you've got to be alert, and you've got to be bold enough to act. She doesn't want you to hesitate. She doesn't want you to explain. She just wants you to catch the moment and give it life. Because when you do, the excitement stays excitement. But when you don't, Excitement turns into disappointment, and disappointment is one of the hardest things to recover from in a relationship.